at different stages. According to their relation to each other, the differentiated force of the different schemes can pass from scheme to scheme, and thus the units of life on the different rays or streams of force become temporarily intermingled. In all these triangles, cosmic, systemic, planetary, and human, 2 points of the triangle represent each a different polarity, and 1 point represents the point of equilibrium, of synthesis or merging. This should be borne in mind in studying both the macrocosmic and the microcosmic centers, for it accounts for diversity in manifestation, in forms and in quality. A correspondence might here also be pointed out which may serve to convey light to those who have eyes to see the Venus scheme, being in the 5th round, had the 5th principle of Venus coordinated and developed, the minor 4 Venusic aspects had been synthesized, and the Buddhic aspect was being provided with the means of expression through the medium of the perfected 5th. Our heavenly man, in the 5th round, will have attained a paralleling point in evolution, and the 5th principle will, as stated, be no longer the object of his attention as regards the human units. 5 stages of activity mark the development and utilization of the mind principle. There are 3 stages of acquisition, and 2 wherein that which has been acquired is used. This is too intricate a calculation for us to enter into it here, and it cannot be undertaken except by an initiate, for it involves ability to study the cycles of the earlier solar system, but it might be noted that, judging from the microcosm on the Earth planet, this is just what might be expected. Man developed Venus in this round during the 3rd, 4th and 5th root races, and utilizes it for the development of the intuition and of the higher consciousness during the 6th and 7th. During an incarnation by a planetary logos in the chain, during 1 round he demonstrates through his 7 centers, or globes Venus on 3 globes, and utilizes it for specific purposes on the final 2. This is a lesser cycle to that in which we view the 7 chains as his 7 centers. These words are chosen with care. I say not, acquires Venus. He but produces that which is inherent. It must be remembered that just as the planes of a solar system stand for a different purpose, vibrate to a different key, and serve their own specific ends, so do the globes serve an analogous function. A Globe 1 is that of ultimate abstraction, and of origination. It is the initial globe of manifestation. B Globe 2 is the first sheath in which a heavenly man embodies himself. C Globes 3, 4, 5 are those through which he demonstrates the possession of the Venusic principle. D Globes 6 and 7 are the ones through which he manifests Buddhi, through forms built by means of the Venusic principle. This can be equally predicated on a larger scale of the chain. An interesting correspondence of a very occult nature can be worked out by the advanced student in connection also with the 7 schemes. There are 2 which may be considered primarily archetypal, causal, or involving abstraction. 3 in which Venus is manifested, and 2 in which already Buddhi is Venusically demonstrating. Of these 2, Venus is 1, and thus we have the 3 and the 2 which make the 5 schemes of the 5 Kumaras, who are Brahma. 13,836 Just as Venus is negatively polarized to our Earth scheme, so the 7 stars of the Pleiades are negatively polarized to our 7 schemes. A very pertinent question might here be asked. We might justly inquire, in connection with the point that Venus is negatively polarized, and also that the Pleiades are equally so, why they should be termed negative if they are the donors, and not the receivers, for to be negative is surely to be receptive. This is indeed so, but the question arises in our minds, owing to lack of information, and consequent misapprehension. Venus may have had much to do with the impartation of the stimulation which resulted in great events on Earth via the Venus chain of our scheme, but our scheme gave, in a mysterious manner, more than was received, though the gift was not of the same nature. The coming in of the Venusian influence to our chain, and to our planet, with the subsequent stimulation of certain groups in the fourth creative hierarchy, the human, caused a paralleling event of even greater magnitude in the Venus scheme. This affected the sixth hierarchy, one of the Deva hierarchies, dwelling in the Venus scheme. This stimulation emanated via our sixth chain, or the second according to the angle of vision, and affected a corresponding chain in the Venus scheme. The magnitude of the difference may be seen in the fact that in our case one globe alone was affected, whereas the influence of our scheme on the Venusian was such that an entire chain was stimulated. This was brought about through the positive polarity of the heavenly man of the earth scheme. Therefore, enlarging the concept, we can note the fact that our heavenly men are the transmitters, via their seven schemes, to the seven stars of the Pleiades. Our solar system is negatively polarized as regards the sun Sirius, which influences our entire system psychically via the three synthesizing schemes Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, the latter, Saturn, being the focal point for the transmission of cosmic menace to the entire seven schemes. For menace and the earth chain we have brought our consideration of our first point, the origin of cosmic and systemic menace, down to certain facts concerning our chain, and have, with the utmost brevity, passed in review the larger aspect of the question. We touch first of all upon the subject of cosmic menace, as it concerned our Logos and the heavenly men. Then we considered it more specifically in its relation to the individual heavenly men, and finally brought it down to that which more nearly concerns ourselves Menas and the heavenly man of our scheme. Having proceeded thus far, we considered the stimulation of Menas in our own chain, and saw that, in connection with our earth, it came via the Venus chain of our scheme, as the result of a stimulation, originating in the Venus scheme. Because Logoic Kundalini had vitalized one of the systemic triangles of force, of which, temporally, Venus and the Earth formed 2 points of the triangle. This produced the individualization of those, particularly in the human hierarchy, who form a particular center in the body of the planetary Logos. A. The Earth chain and the incarnating monads. We have reached, therefore, a point wherein, having cursorily dealt above with the origin of cosmic, systemic, and planetary menace, it is now possible for us to come definitely down to the consideration of our Earth chain within the Earth scheme, and see something of the origin of the menacing principle in the present group of incarnating egos, units of the fourth creative hierarchy. It is necessary here for students to remember that only one group in the fourth hierarchy was affected by the coming in of Menas in the third root race, and that therefore in incarnation on the planet at this time are component parts of the two groups. One group, which received the Menasic stimulation during this world period, and another group which received the stimulation during the previous chain. The last named group can be seen incarnating in all those who tread the probationary path, who are counted as the advanced units of the race, and considered as the notables among men. Owing to the difference between the two groups may be traced much of the world unrest. This difference lies in the following factors, which, for purposes of clarity, it might be well to enumerate. The fact that each group forms a different center in the body of a heavenly man. The difference in the method of individualization. The different rate of vibration of the two centers. The fact, therefore, that in each chain the planetary Logos takes a different initiation, affecting different centers, and so bringing into manifestation different lesser entities. Students, when considering these things, need to view the matter from the following angles: some quite possible lines of approach for us, others which we are only capable as yet of dimly anticipating. The occult fact, as stated by the English poet Pope, the proper study of mankind, is man, is embodied in the investigation of all these vast cycles. The cosmic angle. This involves the study of the place of the solar logos within his greater sphere, the study of extra-systemic psychology and astronomy, and the consideration of the relation existing between our system and other constellations, and of our path in the vast arc of the heavens. It bears on the relation of the various suns with their circulating attendants, and of the planets with each other. It concerns the study of their individual polarization, and their interaction with their polar opposites. It will lead the student into regions of logical speculation, into the study of cosmic electricity, and the universal law of attraction, and is as yet much beyond the comprehension of even the most advanced students at this time, and will only become a science, reduced to form and textbook if I might so express it, during the final part of the next round. The systemic angle. This deals with the place of the heavenly men within the body logoic, their mutual interplay, and their rational interdependence, and with the cycles wherein each in turn, or in dual formation, is the recipient of logoic force. It necessitates the study of the solar system as a unit, of the astronomical and orbital relation of the Sun to the planets. The systemic triangles will eventually become a subject of popular speculation, then of investigation, of scientific demonstration, and finally be known to be proved and authenticated fact, but the time is not yet. The different polarities of the schemes will be studied, and information, that is now imparted only to initiates of the third initiation, will eventually become exoteric. In due course of time, systemic information along the lines of A. The vitalization of the schemes B. Interaction between two schemes C. The periods of incarnation of the planetary logos on the physical plane D. The initiation of the planetary logos will be reduced to law and order. As yet but dim speculations and hints that appeal only to the spiritual and the intuitive are in any way possible. The early part of the next round will see more widespread knowledge and interest in this matter. The planetary angle. This point of view concerns itself with the history of the individual scheme, and with the consciousness and evolution of some particular heavenly man. The student in studying along these lines must endeavor to get some grasp of the scheme as a unit, as a body corporate with its 7 centers, and 49 globes, and with the triangle formed between them. Separate chains are either the object of planetary stimulation, the sphere of the incarnation of the planetary logos, emerging into objectivity, manifesting, gradually entering into obscurity. This point of view is as yet impossible for the average thinker, for it involves an expansion of consciousness unattainable by man. Nevertheless, the endeavor to comprehend serves a useful purpose, for it sets a goal for man and enables him to enlarge his present concept. The chain angle. This brings the whole idea more within the range of possibility, and has already been indicated to students in Volume I of the Secret Doctrine. The student is narrowed down to the contemplation of the 7 globes of the chain of which he is a component, though microscopic, part. He has for investigation the globes as seen in time, with their mutual interplay. He has for study the part each one may be playing in the great